Wade Langston clutched the deed in his calloused hands, staring at the farmhouse that was supposed to be deserted. Smoke curled lazily from the chimney. 3 horses stood tethered to a fence post, their tails flicking in the morning breeze. Laundry swayed on a line strung between 2 sturdy oaks. He'd paid good money, every cent he had, for this property, and Frontier Bank had assured him it was abandoned. Confusion gnawed at him, turning to irritation as he urged his horse forward. The closer he got, the more signs of life he saw, a thriving vegetable garden, chickens clucking in a wire pen, fresh tire tracks cutting through the dirt path to the porch. Before he could dismount, the front door swung open. A woman stepped out, her dark hair pulled back, hands planted firmly on her hips. She was striking, but her expression was hard, unwelcoming. 2 more women appeared behind her, equally beautiful, their faces set in defiance. "You're on private property," the first woman called, her voice sharp with authority. Wade raised the deed. "Ma'am, I think there's a misunderstanding. I bought this place 3 days ago from Frontier Bank. Papers are right here." The woman's green eyes narrowed. "Is that so? I'm Ruby Callahan, and this is my family's land. Has been for 20 years. 20 years. Wade's voice cracked. "The bank said it was abandoned for over a decade. Said the owners just up and left." Ruby stepped off the porch, her sisters close behind. "The bank told you a lot, didn't they? But they didn't tell you we never left, never sold, and never abandoned our home." The younger sister, a blonde with anxious eyes, whispered to Ruby. The middle sister, a redhead with a piercing gaze, kept her hand near something tucked in her belt. Wade's mind raced. He'd spent his life's savings on this land. The deed was legitimate, he'd checked it at the courthouse. But these women weren't squatters. They belonged here. "Look, ladies," he said, steadying his voice, "I don't want trouble. I've got a legal document saying this farm is mine. Maybe we can sort this out peacefully." Ruby's laugh was sharp, humorless. "Peacefully? You ride in with a paper and expect us to pack up and leave? You see that garden, the roof repairs, the corral? We've kept this place alive while the bank sat empty in town." Sweat beaded on Wade's brow despite the cool air. Something was wrong, very wrong. He suspected he'd been deceived, but before he could speak, Ruby pulled a folded document from her pocket. "We've got papers too, stranger. Older than yours." She unfolded a yellow deed, its edges worn, an official seal glinting at the bottom. "This is the original deed, signed to our father, Thomas Callahan, in 1851. 24 years old. How old's yours?" Wade's stomach sank. His deed was 3 days old. "That's impossible," he said, but his confidence wavered. "Frontier Bank wouldn't sell me stolen property. They're legitimate." The redhead, Suddy, scoffed. "Legitimate? 3 months ago, a bank man claimed we owed back taxes. Said they'd foreclose if we didn't pay. We showed him this deed, proved we owned the land free and clear. No taxes owed." The youngest, Clarabelle, spoke softly. "I followed that bank man to Miller's trading post. He met someone, laughing about selling this land in 3 months. You're saying the bank planned to sell your land, knowing you owned it?" Wade asked, dread creeping in. "More than that," Ruby said. "You're not the first they've sent with a fake deed." Suddy nodded. 2 weeks ago, a family from back east arrived with papers like yours. They said the bank told them the previous owners, us, died in a fire." Wade's blood ran cold. He was staring at 3 women who were supposed to be dead. "They told people you were dead," he said slowly, "but you're here, and they're selling your land to anyone with cash." Ruby's eyes hardened. "Now you see. Question is, what are you going to do?" Wade ran a hand through his hair. "I gave them everything, $500. If your deed's real, I've been robbed as much as you. More than you think, Clarabelle said, nodding to Suddy, who retrieved a leather satchel from the house. She spread papers on the porch railing, deeds for 5 properties, all sold by Frontier Bank in 6 months, all with identical signatures, overlapping dates. They sold the Morrison Ranch to 3 families in 1 week, Suddy said. The Henderson place, 5 times since spring. Cash only, no inspections. It's a confidence scheme, Wade realized. They take money from buyers like me, steal land from owners like you. When buyers find the land occupied, most leave, thinking they got swindled. The bank keeps the money and starts over. Some don't leave quietly, Clarabelle added. That's when it gets dangerous. A dust cloud on the horizon interrupted them. A rider approached fast. Expecting company? Wade asked. Ruby's face paled. That's Jed Collins. Works for the bank. Only comes when trouble's brewing. Jed reined up, his horse lathered. Miss Callahan, bank manager needs you in town. Says it's about property taxes. We don't owe taxes, Ruby snapped. Jed's smile was cold. Bank says you owe. Pay by sundown, or you forfeit the land. Wade stepped forward, hand near his gun. Funny thing, I bought this place 3 days ago. Why collect taxes on land they don't own? Jed's confidence flickered. Must be an error. I'll take it up with Mr. Harrison. Ruby held up her deed. Ask Harrison how he's selling property we've owned for 24 years. Jed's eyes darted between Wade's gun and the sisters. You got till sundown, or the sheriff comes with papers to clear you out. He spurred his horse and rode off. How much do they claim you owe? Wade asked. $200, Ruby said. Might as well be $2,000. We don't have it. Wade mounted his horse. I'm going to town to talk to Harrison. Ruby grabbed the bridle. That's what they want, get you alone. Men have disappeared crossing that bank. Then come with me, Wade said. Let's see Harrison explain himself to the whole town. The sisters saddled up. Wade studied his deed, fresh ink, artificially aged paper. They're sloppy, he said. Working fast. Maybe desperate. The 4 rode toward town, but as they crested the hill, Wade froze. 6 horses stood outside the bank, too many for a weekday. The street was eerily empty, shops shuttered. They were expecting us, Ruby whispered. Those are hired guns, Wade said, spotting Sheriff Morrison and 3 armed men outside the bank. A tall man in an expensive suit emerged, giving orders. That's the man I saw 3 months ago, Clarabelle said. Laughing about selling our land. They're not planning to arrest us, Wade realized. They're planning to kill us. 2 riders appeared on the ridge behind, cutting off their retreat. We're surrounded, Clarabelle whispered. There's a mining trail behind the church, Ruby said. Narrow, but it leads to the canyon. A gunshot echoed from the ridge. Ride hard through town, Wade ordered. Stay low, don't stop. They charged down the main street, gunfire erupting behind them. Ruby's rifle took down a gunman. Bullets splintered wood, but they reached the trail, climbing into the hills. After 10 minutes, they stopped in a pine grove. Everyone okay? Wade asked. Suddy had a graze on her arm, but they were unharmed. They'll keep coming, Ruby said. Clarabelle pulled an envelope from her saddlebag. I grabbed this before we left. Real bank records Harrison thought he burned. Wade opened it, deeds, forged documents, a ledger naming Sheriff Morrison, Judge Stevens, and properties targeted for theft. This is everything, he said. They've been stealing for years. Horses approached. We split up, Wade decided. Ruby, take these to Marshal Davidson in the capital. He's honest. Suddy, Clarabelle, lead them on a chase. I'll go back to town. Ruby hesitated. You're walking into a trap. I'll handle it, Wade said. While the sisters drew off the pursuit, Wade slipped into town through the cemetery. He found the man in the suit, Jonathan Kessler, a Chicago land speculator, packing papers in the bank. Going somewhere? Wade asked, gun drawn. Kessler paled. You don't know the forces you're dealing with. Had backing, Wade corrected. Marshall Davidson's reading your ledger right now. Within hours, federal agents arrested Kessler, Harrison, Morrison, and others. The forged deeds were voided, stolen money recovered, and the Callahan land secured. Wade got his $500 back, plus damages. 3 months later, Wade stood on the farmhouse porch, now family with Ruby, Suddy, and Clarabelle. He'd invested his money in their operation, building a future together. Ruby stepped out, smiling. Supper's ready. The land was safe, the criminals jailed, and Wade was home.